What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to make you a smoked cedar plank salmon that you can't refuse, but we're going to do it with a little bit of a twist. We're not going to do it in the smoker or on the grill. We're going to do the smoked cedar plank salmon on the griddle. Yep, we're going to be on the griddle today. Hey folks, if this is your first time visiting the channel today, we want to give you a giant and warm Texas North welcome. Hey, Texas North Barbecue and Griddle is open. Let's go inside and start to make some barbecue. I'll see you in there.
We are live from my backyard where I am smoking these meat like a brisket. I'm making meat now. Someone asked me, do I smoke meat? That's gonna be delicious. Yeah, I smoke meat, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Welcome back, folks. So here's the star of today's show. This is a fresh Atlantic salmon that I purchased from Costco. And before we go any further, I'm going to do a zoomed in shot of the sticker or the label on here. I just want to make a point about what's on here. So I'll go ahead and show you this in detail here in the next scene before we move on. What I wanted to show you on the sticker here, on the label, is that this is a product of Norway, not Chile, but Norway. And you can see a little bit further down on the packaging, this particular kind of salmon is raised without antibiotics. So Norwegian type salmon is some of the safest farm raised salmon in the entire world, and it's a lot healthier than the salmon from Chile. So you have to look at the packaging and kind of watch out, look very closely to see if it's a product of Norway or a product of Chile. The salmon's out of the packaging. It's on the cutting board now and ready to be cut and prepped. But before we get there, I just want to make a comment about Alaskan wild-caught salmon. And the wild-caught salmon is generally regarded to be the healthier version as compared to the farm-raised salmon. But I don't particularly care for the taste and texture of the wild caught, so I stick with the farm raised, with the Norwegian farm raised salmon, and it already comes with the skin off and ready to go. So what we'll do now is we'll get to cutting and continue on with the preparation. Before I trim any meats, and in this particular case, the salmon, I like to make sure that my knife is as sharp as possible. I have a little miniature sharpener here that I just like to give it a few swipes through just to make sure that it is super sharp. Now, the way I'm going to cut this salmon is I want it to be just a little bit, not as wide as the board that I'm going to put it on. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to sacrifice this end right here, and I'll cook that up later. So let's just take this off, and I'll set that aside, and we'll work with this section right here. So I'll make a nice cut about right there. And then we'll also set this other section aside, and we'll cook that up later on. So for now, the next thing that I do is that I take the salmon and I pat dry it. So I'm going to pat dry it on the top, the sides, and also the bottom. And then what I'm going to do next then is put this on a Pam sprayed cooling rack. And what this will do is allow the salmon overnight in the refrigerator. That's where we'll put it overnight. We'll let it rest in the refrigerator overnight. And what will happen is that a nice pellicle will develop on the surface. And a pellicle is a layer of proteins that will allow the smoke to stick to the salmon when it's cooking, and will also lock in the moisture in the salmon as well. So we'll put this to bed for the night in the refrigerator, and we will see you tomorrow and continue on with our prep. Our salmon has rested overnight in the refrigerator. It has a nice pellicle on it now so that the moisture is trapped in there and the smoke will adhere to the top of it. But before I go any further, I just want to touch on what I call the 4 T's, the 4 T's of successful barbecue. And those are taste, tenderness, texture, and the fourth T is technique. And the most important T of the four is technique. If you don't have the technique done correctly, then there's a good chance that your taste, your tenderness, or the texture is not going to turn out the way you like it to, and you won't be happy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to prepare the salmon, but before that, we're going to take care of getting the planks and the griddle ready. And so this is the plank that I use. These come from a Wildwood Grilling, and I'll put a link down in the comments below. This is a box, I think it's about two dozen or so planks, and order them online. So I'm going to take this plank now and I'm going to put it in the sink, in a sink of hot water, and I'm going to let it rest there for about 15 minutes so that it gets nice and soaked. And a lot of people say that you need to rest the plank in the water, let it soak for 1 to 2 hours, and that's not really true. There was a chef at Wildwood Grilling that did a study, did a test, and he found that soaking more than 15 minutes, there really wasn't any benefit to the wood absorbing any more water or to the taste of the food afterwards. So 15 minutes in hot water, you should be good to go. So we'll get this going in the water and we'll get the griddle warmed up. Just wanted to show you what I do with the plank. If you have a sink protector, that is the perfect way to keep the plank submerged under the water, and you can see that it's under there, and this sink protector really helps. You can use other methods if you don't have a sink protector, but it works really well for keeping that plank submerged underwater for the full 15 minutes. So now we're ready to prepare the salmon, and as I mentioned before, it has a nice pellicle on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this piece from the rack onto a plate. I'm going to use a paper plate so I don't have to dirty a regular dish. And I am going to apply a binder right now so that the rub that I use will stick to it. And what I like to use on all of my barbecued meats and fish, I like to use duck fat, and I will put a link in the comments below. You can use just about anything. I like to go with the little healthier route of the duck fat, and I'm just going to give it a nice coating. And then I'm going to apply my special blend Texas North all-purpose rub that I make actually right here. And I'm going to give this a coating evenly the whole way across the surface and get some on the sides as well. A little bit more here in the middle so that it's uniform. And now I'm just going to tap that in gently. After this, now this is ready to go on the cedar planks. So I will bring the cedar plank over, gently put it on the cedar plank, and we are ready to take this outside and get it smoking. I'll see you outside. Okay, so we have the Camp Chef flat top griddle warmed up to 400 degrees. We're going to use my infrared temperature gun here, 408, 407, 404 right in there. So that's good and ready to go. I did want to mention that when you take the wooden plank out of the soak, that to make sure that you pat dry it with a towel to get the excess water off. Now we're going to put this on the griddle, and we'll just leave it there, and we will cover that, and we'll check back in a little bit and see how things are going. We're about 20 minutes in. Let's check in and see how things are temperature wise. You can see that it's smoking nicely, and let's take an internal temperature here and see where we're at. We're at 113 right now. We want to get this to 145, so we have a little bit to go yet. As you can see on here, you see this white substance, and what that is albumin, and albumin is a protein that's in liquid form inside of the salmon. But when it gets heated up, it coagulates, and the salmon pushes the albumin out to the surface, and you get this white substance. It's harmless. If you don't like it, you can just scrape it off before eating. But we'll check in here in a little bit, and we'll add some butter, and finally we'll add a garnish of parsley. Let's check in here one more time, see how things are going. I already put a couple of pats of butter on there, so it's nicely melted. You can see the albumin is continued to be sweated out of the salmon. We're at 149, 148. We crossed that 145 safety threshold, so we're good to go. It's all cooked. It's all ready. I'm going to put some parsley garnish on here for a little color, and we're going to take this off and put it on a plate. And we will let this rest for 5 minutes. And we will come back and do the final analysis. 5 minutes later. The salmon has been resting for 5 minutes. Let's see how things look. It's got nice color. Yeah, it's got the melted butter on there. Let's see how the texture and the tenderness is. It's looking really good. It's flaking apart. No resistance whatsoever. No need to have a knife. Now, what I recommend is that you just serve it right on the cedar plank, and it makes for a nice presentation for your family member or for your guest. Now, since I can't offer you a bite to eat, I won't eat in front of you, but I believe if you follow the technique outlined in this video, you'll be happy and satisfied with the taste and the tenderness and texture of the salmon. So I'm going to go ring the dinner bell, let everybody know that it's time to eat. I'm pretty pleased with the way this turned out, and I'm going to give this the Grill Father Johnny L stamp of approval. Hey friend, thanks for watching today. Hope you found today's video helpful. Would you do me the favor of hitting the like button and subscribe button? Don't forget to hit the notification bell also, so that you get notified when new videos of mine come out. And also, share this video with a family member or a friend. Till next time, this is Grill Father Johnny L signing off. Take care, God bless, and griddle on.